was awesome.
That was awesome.
You guys are awesome.
No, you're awesome.
No, you are awesome.
Sir, you are awesome. Seriously.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Welcome to this week's edition of Everything is Awesome. I am your host, Kev, and this is the show where we sit down and talk to awesome people about awesome things. And hey, I didn't get to you a week after the last episode, but I did get to you 2 weeks after, and that's something. Really excited to be jumping back into Everything is Awesome. Maybe not like a whole cannonball, you know what I mean? But definitely like my feet are in the water, my legs are dangling in the water. It might be a little cold. I might just be tiptoeing in because, you know, when it hits that, you know, waist area, oh, it's a shock. Anyway, this week's episode is a bit of a shorter one. Sometimes we have guests who are able to clear an entire hour to an hour and a half out of their schedule. And other times we have guests who are like super tight on time, and it's just a miracle that we can even connect to sit down and chat. And that is this week's guest, Philadelphia's own Jordan Spector. He is an artist in the greater Philadelphia area. He has done some wonderful sports art pieces. At the time that we actually talked, he had just released his second Immortals trading card with Brandon Graham, so we were talking about that. Or maybe it was his third one. I forget the order of operations there. But regardless, we talked about how he started. We talked about what got him into doing sports art and all that fun stuff. And I say it in the episode, there was, I think it was in like 2022, 2023, something like that. There was like a several month span that he released so many great pieces that I was just like, I don't care about my wallet. I don't care about my wallet. And I kept buying and buying and buying. I have a whole bunch of stuff in my basement that I purchased from Jordan that I am eventually going to hang up once my either studio or basement that will be a studio is ready for stuff to be hung. What a great episode to just kind of chat with a fellow Philadelphia sports fan, talk about art, talk about their, all their neat ideas and the way that they're pushing boundaries and creating experiences. And I'll tell you, a little bit of a spoiler at the top of this episode before we get into the interview. Jordan creates experiences with his art, very specifically with his Immortal series, which since we've talked has grown into like this own big thing beyond just like, oh, a trading card that's got something special with it or with a QR code. Like, it's turned into something really great. Hey, before we jump over to this interview with Jordan, it's a short one today, so I'm gonna have some stuff to talk about on the back end about a couple different episodes that are being planned out for this show and what the next, probably like 3 to 4 months of episodes should look like. Very specifically, most of that's going to be backlog stuff. But that being said, there are 2 things happening with Everything is Awesome that I'm really excited about. And I want to talk about that on the back end of this episode. Back at, 30 minutes. We got you short today, so we got a little extra time for a one-on-one conversation. And hey, I'll tell you something. I re-listened to the episode that I released 2 weeks ago with Tanya Todd, and it's the first time I've recorded something for Everything is Awesome in quite some time, and I apologize for all those filler words. I actually caught myself doing it a couple times right here today in this intro, and I'm going to do my best to get better at that because I'm a professional. I've been doing this since 2007. I have no excuses. Anyway, let's get to it. Here is a conversation I had with the one, the only, the immensely talented Jordan Spector right here on Everything is Awesome, only on awesomepodcast.com. I'm going to assume you've been in the Philadelphia area your entire life.
Yep. Yeah, this is my stomping grounds, if you will.
Okay. Yeah. You can. I mean, you're wearing the Eagles hat on camera. Is that your go-to football? Is that your go-to sports team in the Philly area?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
football was my main sport growing up, so that's what I'll always be the biggest fan of.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I played football at Temple for a short period.
Oh, neat.
So
Neat.
yeah, so a
So
lot of
so you are like homegrown Philadelphia area through and through. Uh,
yeah. I grew up in Willow Grove,
okay.
so not necessarily Philly, but close enough. And then I lived
Right.
downtown for solid 10 years. So
Where do you stand on? Because I get one time I got into an argument with somebody because, like I said, I was from Bucks County, and they're like, "Well,
mhm.
you're not Philly. You're not a Philadelphian. Where do you stand? Like, if you're in the greater Philadelphia area, you're Philly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially if
it's
you're wearing the right gear and you're
right.
talking the talk and walking the walk.
Yeah, it is always interesting when there is that divide, and that's what I with the new City Connect jerseys. That's what I actually gravitated towards was that they really kind of like the term Philly kind of encompasses, I think, if you're going to be an outlier and say, "Oh, you're not a Philadelphian," right? Like that term Philly to me is like, "Oh, maybe that really is what I am. I'm from Philly, not Philadelphia necessarily."
Yeah.
Um, and where do you fall? I like asking people that are sports fans in the area. Where do you fall on those City Connect jerseys?
Um, I don't think they're that bad. They're just they don't feel like they're Phillies. I don't like the relation there isn't a lot,
Right,
but it's I don't think it's bad. I've seen much worse with some of the Sixers jerseys that they've done.
right, right.
um, some of them great too, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just felt like it would have made more sense to be red.
Well, I when they leaked, I was like, oh my god, this is not good at all. But seeing them in action and like, I still am not a big fan. For some reason, Wheeler's still looks bad in my opinion, and so does Turner's. Looks kind of off. But the rest of them are fine. I actually really dig them. I think one of my favorite screenshots I've seen so far is of JT and his catcher uniform, comparing him to Wolverine. Uh, Probably one of my favorite things that has come from the
I
City
saw that.
Connect jerseys. Yeah. So, and the
Yeah,
hats are like fantastic. I think they're the best part of the jersey.
yeah. I've seen a couple people with the hats. Those are a little more subtle and cool.
Yeah. All right. So when did you, and for those that don't know, Jordan here is a wonderful artist. He I think in the year, so last year in 2023, I think I dropped way too much money on a bunch of your art, that I'm redoing my basement downstairs, into like a studio slash man cave.
Nice.
So like all that, I bought a lot of art in 2023 from you because it was all so great and all. And I discovered you through the and maybe this was actually 2022, but through the Jason Kelsey fanatic
Mm.
embrace.
Yeah. Class.
Um and I mean that is I mean when it happened in real time, right? Like it's the best of everything if you're a Philadelphia fan, because Jason Kelsey, I think, so represents what it is to be Philly. Like he embodies the city of Philadelphia, and so does the fanatic, and just those worlds colliding, and then you capturing it in such a fantastic way on the canvas. I saw it and I was like talking to my buddies at work about it. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. And I was like back and forth for a little while, only because like I don't have all the money in the world, but I found all the money in the world that year.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the support. And that's how I knew the name as soon as you reached out as well. I was like, that name sounds familiar, just because
I've
there's
seen the
plenty of
invoice a
names
few
that
times.
Yeah. um, so, but yeah, that was one of my most popular of last year. I didn't do it after that moment happened. I just didn't have the
Right.
time, and
Right.
but I think everything happened for a reason, and I was able to do it last year. And then we
Right.
had an opportunity to offer an autograph version too, which now a year later, again, we have that opportunity again to get it autographed by Kelsey and the Fanatics. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the other great thing is, and I know like you do more than just Philadelphia sports, but that's like the core of what you
That's
offer,
the
and
core.
it's great that like that you're because you're in the area and you do such wonderful work, you're able to connect with these athletes that you're doing portraits of, or whatever you're doing art of, and get them to like participate and autograph them as well. I mean, like the Brian Dawkins trading card, fantastic. um the oh god, what I was surprised was with your Attaboy Harper one. That seemed like a quick turnaround. Am I just remembering that incorrectly?
No, you're absolutely correct. That was a very fast turnaround. I banged that out in like 5 days, which was quick for me. But it turned out great, and I tried to keep it a little more simplistic.
Right.
Um, so that was a popular one too. But unfortunately, like a week or two later, they were out,
Yeah, yeah.
which sucks. But what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah. But that moment is, I think, a moment that most fans will remember at least for the next 8 years or however much longer Harper's around.
Yep.
Um, that moment will be forever in our brains. And for some of us, like for me, I'm going to be 40 this year. So there's moments like that that's happened over the course of the last, like, I've been watching sports that I can remember for at least 35 years at this point, and like
Hmm.
a core memory is probably the last 20 years. So, anything that's happened that's like that pose that Dawkins does, right? Like that's a core memory, that Weapon X pose. That Attaboy harp is a core memory now that for me, I will never forget it because we'll be hanging on my basement wall. But that's a core memory, I think, for a lot of Philadelphia fans, and especially like the this younger fan base who, like, my kid, my oldest one is 12, my youngest is 3, will be 3, and I have a 10-year-old in the middle. So like the two older kids, they've been spoiled the last few years with
Yeah.
seeing some World Series runs, some Super Bowl runs. For my oldest, seeing a Super Bowl championship, and like then the heartbreak of that, like what was it, 2 years ago when Union lost, Philly lost, and like we just had 3 losses on
Terrible, man.
almost the row.
That's terrible.
And I was like, hey guy, you just experienced what I lived through in like a 3-month span. Like that was my childhood, just losses.
Heartbreak after heartbreak.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So where did your passion for art come in? Like when did you start finding enjoyment and seeing that you had a talent for that?
Since I was a kid, cliche saying, since I could pick up a pencil,
Right, right,
as most artists might say, but I always had a talent for it. It was a hobby I picked up as a kid. My dad's an artist too, so I'm sure
right,
he encouraged me when I was a kid, and it just came naturally, and I would draw stuff that interested me as a kid. I wanted to be a pilot when I was a kid, so I would draw fighter jets, and I went
oh
to air
neat.
shows all the time. Um, and then I had my phase of like Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh, and would draw stuff like that, and
Right,
so.
right,
But I didn't really start doing sports stuff until like college, really. That's when I really started doing that, and it was still at that point for fun. And
right,
then who would have known it would turn into a business for me, and
right.
become a career. So
And when you because I am not an artist, I'm lucky if I can get a stick figure on the page. Uh, so, but like as a kid, like even when you don't have the talent, I think that's something that if you're, I think, like a creative, I think you'll enjoy it for a little bit until you realize you don't like it. Like I can see that with my kids. Like one of them is super creative, and
She is great at drawing. The other one has a creative bone, and he'll put a little bit of energy in it, but like eventually he'll be like, "Oh, I'm not for this," and he'll stop and go on to something else.
Yeah.
But when is it that, like, you said it was college years, but like, does that instantly flip to like, fan stuff to sports stuff, or is there like a bit of a mashup going on where, for instance, we all kind of know Brian Dawkins as Weapon X. Do you draw these guys or gals as some sort of mashup with superheroes or Pokemon or whatever it may be?
There's definitely some inspiration there, depending on who it is, that ties into that. I love Marvel and a lot of superhero movies. Um, and that can definitely tie into the artwork. Like Brian Dawkins is clearly a big Marvel fan and was deemed as Weapon X his whole career. And you've seen the card. It's backwards on screen, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's such a wonderful card, and it is. I mean, that's the iconic pose, right? Like, that's how I remember Brian Dawkins, who I think for the longest time, when you thought about Philadelphia, and unless you're like really not a sports fan, like Philadelphia and sports used to be Dawkins, I think.
Mhm.
I think that's transitioned to Kelsey now, and maybe even Harper a bit. They two, while they're completely different personalities, they are like embodiments of Philadelphia and like really love to represent the city in their own way. But yeah, that's like, what a classic pose that you captured on that trading card. And I'm going to skip ahead, a big chunk of time from college to now, but what was made you go into a trading card? Because now that's a thing for you.
Yeah, it's a big thing for me now. And I really didn't know what to expect, but everything I commit to, I give it 110%. So I definitely went all out. And just try to be as unique as I can too, because that's always important as well, to try to just be staying in my own lane and not doing what anybody else is doing. Um, but yeah, traditionally I do canvas work, murals, larger stuff. And the cards I was intrigued by probably starting back in 2020, 2021. And that's really when the card industry started to go crazy again, which was my first exposure to how big the sports card world is. I really didn't realize. And I actually did a mural for Golden Auctions, who's over in New Jersey. They're one of the biggest auction houses in the US. They have a show on Netflix. And if you ever see a lot of their videos on social media, there's this massive mural in there of like all these legends on one wall. Another wall is like Charizard and like Superman. I did that mural in there. It's 60 feet. And little things like that, and like seeing what Tops was doing with all these artists, some of which are Philly artists that I know. It just motivated me to want to do something unique in the card world. And for me, it's like, all right, like, yeah, I'm not doing any contracted work for Tops or anybody. So how could I leverage some of my relationships to do a really amazing card? Like, if I'm coming in and doing this, I gotta go all out. The first one has to be a banger. So Brian Dawkins was the first that came to mind, and I knew that we could pull off something pretty cool with him. So that's kind of what led up to it. And last year, when I finally was able to get things rolling, and so much research and time put into the best quality product I could get, as far as the cards, the cases, the boxes. It's a really rigorous process to have figured that out. But now that I kind of have a blueprint, and
Right.
it led to me creating a whole new trademarked brand called Immortals, which is what you alluded to. So, I just launched my third card last week with Bo Nickel, a UFC guy. So it's just turned into a whole new venture for me. And it's cool because it's really been like, yes, I've done some with the athletes, but I've never had like a true revenue share collaboration with an athlete where they are partnered on it. So this
Right.
has kind of allowed me to have that much bigger and better of a relationship with these guys, to do a project where it's bringing them the value as well, and we're raising some money for charity, something that they're passionate about that we can support too. So hitting multiple achievements in one project. So it's
Right.
really become a cool thing from that standpoint.
And you touched on all the various aspects of these immortal cards, and I I know the case for the card itself. That's really nice. But what caught my attention, because I don't think I was expecting it when I got the card, was the box itself, which
Mhm.
was like just a fun little experience. Like I open up the packaging and then I see this Immortals box, and then it's like, oh, this is an experience. Like that's what it is. You've created an experience with these cards that go beyond, oh, let me just buy a card that's like in a nice display case, which is great. Like it looks so nice. I have it on my shelf at work. It looks so nice. But the box itself, it sounds silly, but that's one of my favorite parts of
Yeah.
that card, and the experience. And I don't know what it is. Like I was a Magic the Gathering kid when I was younger. So I don't know if it was like, oh, like opening up cards and booster packs and that kind of experience. And not that the packaging is anywhere similar. Your packaging is 100 times better. But like, it's just, there's something about it that was like, sparked so much joy in unlatching that magnetic latch and opening the card and then seeing Weapon X right there in all his glory.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained it like that, because that was the shoes I put myself in. Is like I want people to feel the experience, because I'm selling a high end or higher quality product, and I want people to feel the value of what they're getting. So I know that a lot of people felt that way, and to hear you explain it like that is very refreshing, because again, that's what I set out to do. Is kind of have the box set the tone, like
Right.
I got the Brandon Graham one right here. So like the box, right? Like you already know what's going on. You got BG on the front. You even got like it's about the little details too. You got the Super Bowl on the back here, our autographs, all the little logos. And now I've been able to do the capabilities of a UV spot. So like these are actually shipping out this week. I don't know if you ordered one, but
No, I
when you
missed
get
it.
to feel the box, like the lettering and the decals are spotted now, so they're raised off the surface.
Oh,
Yeah, just like little details like that, and then you open the box. It's got an iconic quote that they wanted to have in there. Um, and then you got the certificate of authenticity, which gives all the fun details and little graphics and all that good stuff. And then, of course, you got the card. This is one of the parallels. And again, it's backwards, so it kind of looks weird. But,
right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
reimagining that sack, and this is
Yeah.
card number 2. So, and then even on the back, you got all the details, a fun fact directly from BG, the logos of the foundation we're supporting, all that fun stuff. And now what I'm doing actually too is we have these QR codes. So what that's going to have is basically a video, a recap of like a video of BG and myself thanking people for ordering the card, and like a little fun little video about the experience of him autographing cards and all that stuff. So, really, really trying to take it to another level, from an experience standpoint.
That is now I did not order this card, unfortunately. I just didn't have the money when you first launched it, because I probably spent it all on your other artwork last year. So
All good.
I'll have to be one of these guys that go on eBay and get it from somebody. But the you doing the experience right now, I'm not even opening it. I literally got goosebumps as you described the front of that box.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's, really telling of the product that you put out there with that. And if you're, and like, I don't, I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. I wouldn't never call myself a sports guy, because like and I'm very much a like modern Philadelphia sports guy. Like I don't know, I know the history that I need to know because like of my parents and stuff. But there's definitely bigger sports fans than me. So when you can open up these cards as a, like, I would say a big Philadelphia sports fan, but I think even a casual Philadelphia sports fan, you're gonna, if you haven't ordered any of these guys, you have to order them. They're so good.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, we have I think literally like 60 left of the BG cards because
Oh,
we released 1,552, hitting off BG's number, Super Bowl
right.
number, and then Dawkins was 2020.
Yeah.
So we have like 50 or 60 left of the
Oh.
BG, and they're shipping out this week. So
See, now you say that, I'm probably gonna buy it now. Buy one now that I know there's some left.
don't force
uh,
yourself. Don't force yourself. I'm sure some will
I
pop up on eBay. I've seen plenty of the Dawkins ones popping up on there.
yeah, and
So,
I mean they are again, yeah, I haven't even looked on eBay to see what they're doing because like honestly, like I won't. I don't buy art or really anything as like an investment usually. Like to
mhm.
me, it's like, oh, I want it because I like it and I want it displayed somewhere because I am a Philadelphia sports fan. I mean, B Doc is probably one of my like top 3 Philadelphia Eagles of all time. Love Brandon Graham. I don't, he's probably top 10 easy, if not top 5. Um, and it is, so I don't look at eBay because I'm not looking to sell my BDoc one because I want it.
Yeah,
Like I bought it for a reason.
yeah,
But I love that you're like, even from one card to the next, you expanded that experience so much. With, obviously the box, but like even the QR code thing that you mentioned, that's fantastic. That interactive experience, beyond even opening the box, is something I'm looking forward to when after our interview, go and purchase this. Um,
yeah.
that's fantastic.
And there's been even additional layers of opportunities that I've been able to create having these relationships. So like with Brian, I don't know if you saw or were involved, but we put on an opportunity where if you didn't end up pulling one of the authentic autograph cards, which are the highest valued,
Right.
you could still have the opportunity to mail in your card, and
Oh
there's a
yes.
potential
Yeah.
to have Brian sign it. You could even get it autographed by me, and and having it at a rate that's actually lower than any rate that you could find at like a pub like the Philly show, for example, or other memorabilia shows. So, and then on top of that, even after that, there was an additional certificate of authenticity for that experience that has a QR code, and it's a video of Brian signing everything, thanking
Oh,
everybody
neat.
again. So, we're gonna have a similar thing with BG probably in a month or two, where this I'm hoping is going to be a public event,
Okay.
only available to card holders. Um,
That's awesome.
so autograph opportunity, but then also something in person because especially BG lives in the area, and he's has such a fun personality. So we're hoping to do something with him like that.
That's very fun, and to have the opportunity to like do so much with these cards beyond like it just being a piece of art that you hang up, or put on display, is really cool stuff that you're doing with this Immortals brand. And listen, I still hope you still focus on your other stuff and do canvas prints and stuff, because I really love that work too. But yeah, the Immortal stuff seems like it's going great, and uh, everything. I mean, the fact that you're finding like more things to add to it with each version of it is just great, and it's a great way to kind of keep it fresh.
Yeah, appreciate that. Even the latest with Bo Nickel, we have even more parallel cards involved, and there's something called a chase card. So
Mm,
the same card, but there's something added to it, so it
right.
becomes like a chase.
Yes.
So even the autograph cards and the parallels are chases in themselves, but this is like it's the same card of Bo, but there's a mini version of him as a kid when he wrestled on the card. So it's really cool. So I'm looking to, just every project trying to add something unique that people would love, and especially that Bo loves in that case. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of work, and it's also a lot of fun, and I see such a big opportunity with it to, it's not only good for myself and the athlete that I'm working with, but it provides an experience to the fan
Yeah.
that I'm hoping
100%.
people value and enjoy. So trying to make everything appeasing for everybody. So,
Right. Now,
um,
before I let you go, I just have two last things I want to ask you, and one of them you might not be able to give much on, but I have to assume you have more of these immortal cards in planned out here.
yeah, for sure. I mean, so I have ones that are more or less locked in versus ones that I want to try to make happen. It's tough because I'm to be honest with you, I'm just rolling with what I can get, right?
Right.
BG opportunity came out of nowhere. I didn't even expect that. Somebody approached me about it.
That's awesome.
Similar with Bo Nickel. So it's really hard because these boxes, the production plus the shipping on them, because they're done overseas, it just takes
Right.
so long. So each project so far, I've had to treat as a pre-order where, hey, we're launching,
Yeah.
and it's advertised very transparent that, hey, these are going to ship about a month from now. But I'm hoping to get to the point where when we're launching, things are ready to go. It's really tough with that. So I always feel like I'm playing a little bit of catch up, but at the same time trying to lock in some other projects because I just want to keep the ball rolling and keep doing these
Yeah.
cards. So I will tell you straight up, I haven't announced it yet, but I'm probably doing one with Iverson next, which would be
Okay.
pretty cool.
That's neat.
Different sport and obviously legend.
Yes.
So Allen Iverson, and a lot of people have been asking about Kelsey, which will be very hard to get done, but I'm trying to make it happen. He's just a very popular and in
Yeah.
high demand, so it's hard to
Yes. Yeah.
get things done with
I
guys.
envision that the Kelsey one will happen at some point. I don't see how it doesn't. I mean, it would be wild to me. I mean, it might take a few years because of his busy schedule and stuff, but I
Yeah,
envision that happening. He seems like such a down to earth guy that he's like, yeah, as soon as I have time, I'll 100% do it.
yeah.
Uh,
So I agree. I think that it will happen. I'm optimistic. I think I might be able to do in Fletcher Cox as well. And
that's a good
then
one.
there's some other Eagles I'm looking to work with. There is a Phillies guy I'm looking to work with. Don't want to say anything until I know,
Right.
but yes, I'm trying to, and I'm also trying to. I'm open to doing cards that are not Philly as well, but
Right.
pretty much every other project at least is going to be some Philly athlete. So
Right.
and I will tell you also to stay tuned for very soon when I am dropping my new Kelsey piece, print canvas, not a card. That's coming very soon.
Okay. Well, I'll certainly be on on the lookout for that because that's
Yeah,
yeah, he has become. It used to be Chase Utley. He used to be my guy. Like anything Utley related, I was like, let me see it. Let me go there. What's going on?
yeah,
It's now Kelsey. He's like, I feel like Kelsey, and I feel like a lot of people feel this way. It's like, oh, I could literally have a beer with him and have a conversation because he seems like a real person. That like I don't know. Not that other sports athletes aren't real people. I don't know. There's just something about Kelsey that feels like he's really down to earth and really just a normal guy. Watching his documentary, I'm like, oh my God, he just lives the same life I do in a bigger house with probably more of a mess because of his 3 kids. So it
yeah.
was really,
When it's relatable, it's so much easier to like somebody and
yeah,
just feel like like it's a nice, refreshing way to be able to view an athlete because some of these guys aren't like that and they do act bigger than what they really are, which is a human being.
right,
So it's a shame when even myself I meet some of these guys they're not really who you think they are, or
right.
they're too young to mature yet and understand
Yeah,
that
yeah,
hey, when you retire you'll get it right, or
right,
when
right.
when you're a little bit older it'll make
Yeah,
more sense, but
yeah.
treat everybody the way that you would want to be treated at the end of the day. um, but yeah, Kelsey, I actually met him last year through Big Dom, and really nice guy. I gave him a replica of that Eagles piece that I did with all the players in it,
Yeah,
which has been a goal of mine to give each guy in that their own copy. So, and it actually hangs in his living room during his podcast. You can see it in the back, not that well, but I see it hanging
right.
up in there. Somebody sent it
That's
to me,
awesome.
so it's
That's all.
pretty cool.
I listen to. I'm not a big visual podcast. I'm trying to get there. I'm usually on the go when I'm listening, so I don't watch the videos
Yeah,
that often. But
that
that's all.
makes
That's an awesome feeling, or I assume it's an awesome feeling when you see something you worked on in someone's like set piece or their living room or wherever, whatever, that's awesome. That's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, because it's like, all right, now I know that you actually care about it and you hung it up. That's it.
Right,
That's great.
right.
Perfect.
All right.
Um,
I'm looking at the time and I know you have an appointment, so I want to get you out of here. Jordan, thank you so much for doing this. I know our schedules were crazy, but we finally got it done. I'm so happy that we did. It was great talking to you. Let people know like anything where they can find you or anything else that you want them to know about right now.
Yeah, of course. Everything that we talked about and I showed, you can find on my website, spectorsportsart.com. You can follow my Instagram and Twitter at Spector_art. And then Facebook is Jordan Spector Art. I'm always posting the latest and greatest sneak peeks and drops and all that good stuff. So go check it out. Yeah.
Awesome. Jordan, thank you once again.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Once again, thank you to Jordan for hopping on the show. We alluded to it during our conversation. We had to reschedule a couple times because I had something going on. Jordan had something going on. And then even like recording this was like sandwiched in between two other calendar things he had going on. So thank you, Jordan, for all the time that you spent with me, that you had available to spend with me. That you made everything work despite having us having to reschedule numerous times. And I apologize for getting this out so late. But as I said last week, mental health is a fickle thing, and I hope you understand. I think you would understand. And again, I don't think I mentioned this in the pre-show. I don't know if we mentioned it during the actual interview. If you're not from the Philadelphia area or you're not into Philly sports, which probably means both things are true, you can actually, he has other art too. Now, I think a lot of it, most of it is sports related, but he does have things that are not from the traditional baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and things that are also from other cities and other teams outside of Philly sports. So there will be links in the show notes to everything that you can find from him, from his art, his immortal stuff. And I will actually link a couple of the pieces that I bought because I think they're really, really good. And hopefully you enjoy them too and you buy them yourselves. Okay, so thank you, Jordan, once again. At the top of the show, I teased the fact that I have 2 announcements for Everything is Awesome. And full disclosure, as I sit here and talk about it, I recorded approximately 26 minutes of this already. And that was just 5 minutes shorter than the actual interview with Jordan. And as I was wrapping up, I said to myself, you crazy asshole. So here we are again. And when I say we, I mean me and my computer, to talk about this, to talk about the 2 things that we have special coming up with Everything is Awesome. We're going to start with episode 200. That's right. As I sat here editing this episode with Jordan, I realized it was episode 197. And I know what you're saying. You didn't realize you were editing episode 196 last week? Hey guys, I don't know what to tell you. I'm an idiot. That being said, for episode 100 of this podcast, we did something really special at Amalgam Comics and Coffee House. No longer there. It was a great space. Ariel Johnson, who owned and operated Amalgam, just opened her doors to so many people to do creative things. And I hope she finds an opportunity to bring Amalgam back in some fashion again, because it was a top 3 space in the city of Philadelphia for me. But I had Jeff Stormer, a friend of the show, my own friend, come on the podcast and run his game Mission Accomplished. Now, I could look it up, but I'm not going to. I forget the full cast, but the full cast was me, one or both of the hosts of the Heart Points podcast, Zach and Diana, and then it was Joe Gates, an improv comedian from the city of Philadelphia. Hannah, I forget her last name, also an improv comedian from the city of Philadelphia. And there may have been another person who I can't remember. I am so sorry, but those things will be in the show notes because I will do the research when I'm not recording this in my car. That being said, it was such a fun experience playing that game for episode 100 that I wanted to do something similar for episode 200. The issue is that to not only plan the production side of putting together a one-shot actual play podcast, not only do you need time for that, you need time to put the story together. And this time I'm running it. So I'm kind of, not only do I have to get the episode put together, I have to get the story put together. So I'm hoping that it's going to release sometime in November or December before the end of the year. I would really love to, whatever episode number that ends up being, celebrate 200 episodes of Everything Is Awesome. That being said, for the actual 200th episode, I'm trying to tinker with an idea that I can do that's not just a standard interview, that kind of harkens back to episode 100 on a much smaller scale. So I'm thinking about that right now as we approach episode 200. But let's get into what we're doing for the actual celebration. And that is sitting down to play Star Wars Edge of the Empire. Something that I've wanted to do for a few years now is at least a one-shot actual play of this game, because it is the game that the Campaign Star Wars podcast played. And if you've been listening to this show for any period of time, I have probably mentioned how much that podcast means to me, how much that James D'Amato, that Johnny O'Mara, that JPC, and that Cat Cool have meant to me in my life, because Jeff Stormer introduced me to this podcast about 9.5 years ago. And it became my comfort listen as my uncle's cancer progressed and got worse. And ultimately, when he passed away, this was my escape from reality. And the connection, I mean, I'm not the Star Wars fan I am without my uncle. He introduced me to Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. And I have core memories from that first time I watched it at the age of like 5, 6, 7, something like that. And this podcast means the world to me because of that. And it helped me probably at the lowest point in my life at the time. I've lost my dad since then, so obviously there have been other low points in my life. I didn't turn to this podcast when my dad passed away because him and I didn't have that Star Wars connection. But anyway, so I want to honor that game. I want to honor that podcast while also celebrating episode 200 of Everything Is Awesome. So I have a great cast that I'm going to announce here. I already announced the show. I already announced what we're doing. So let's announce the cast, shall we? I can't do anything that's unique or special, really. And I guess I can, because episode 100 did not involve this man. That being said, Garrett, I think, was also part. Garrett Smith was part of it. Garrett Smith is my backup Mike. Hey, it's Mike D'Angelo. Mike D'Angelo is who we're casting on episode 200, the Star Wars Edge of the Empire. He's my best friend in the entire world. He is the author of the Tellest series. He is the creator of the Quantum Quest game, and a storyteller that I just truly love and enjoy and look up to. And he's my best friend in the world, and I can't really do a lot of these things without him, or at least without him and I have been talking about this for years, because this has been an idea I had for years. And I'm so grateful that he's going to be part of it. As someone who wants to do stand-up comedy, but I can't stand on a stage by myself, he's there when I do live podcasts with me 99% of the time. So really grateful that he's going to be part of this. Second person that we've casted is another friend that I've now known for almost 10 years, and that's Jeff Stormer. We've talked about him. He's the man that introduced me to this show. He is not only a immensely talented podcaster and storyteller, he's a friend. And he is another person that I've been podcasting longer than, but I look up to as a podcaster. I look up to as a game designer. I look up to as a storyteller. Like, he inspires me to be better at all those things, even the things that I have been doing for almost 19 years at this point. So we got our Mike, we got our Jeff. And guys, if you listen to the first cut I did of this, it was ridiculous how the metaphors I used. So we're not going to use them again. That's a little tease that no one's going to, well, maybe you beg for it, but no one's ever going to find out, ever. third cast member is someone who is new to my orbit, who I discovered on TikTok because of their love of a mutual IP, Back to the Future. And they just kept on popping up more and more in my FYP. I saw what they were doing in the city. You know, they're also from the greater Philadelphia area. Very cool concept that they did with Back to the Future. She wrote a Back to the Future 4 A New Dimension screenplay, and they did a reading in July, and that's like what started popping on my feed about it. And I was like, who is this person? And I saw the work that she has done as an actor, and that she also has a background in improv, and that was important to me for this production. I know Jeff has it from just years of playing games and hosting an actual play podcast. Me and Mike only have what we have practiced in person with each other, and not that we actually practice improv. It's just like that's what our life is like. When a natural conversation and natural funny conversations are improv. And so to have someone that's been has official background in improv was important to me. And the fact that they were, a Back to the Future fan, so I knew they were, liked nerdy shit, and that they were in the greater Philadelphia area. Not that that was important to me, but like that also just is cool. Like I like having a cast that's from the same area. We have a lot in common from the jump. I didn't announce this person's name, Taylor. I'm terrible with last names, so hopefully I pronounced this right. Taylor Keller is an actress from the greater Philadelphia area and a huge Back to the Future fan. And I knew I was going to have a cast that kind of was composed of someone that I've known forever, someone that I can rely on for storytelling in an actual play with Jeff, and someone that was going to be relatively new to my world, whether that meant a past guest over the last year or someone completely new. And it just kind of happened where Taylor's stuff came across and it spoke to me, and I really was like hoping that she would want to be involved, and she said yes. What's even crazier is the email I sent her. I asked her for 2 guest spots, because the other big announcement for Everything is Awesome is that we're approaching our 10 years. February 1st, 2026 is 10 years of Everything is Awesome, and we'll be leading into my 19th year of podcasting. So I wanted to do something special, and the context clues that I've already given you talking about Taylor are there for you. If you're a longtime listener of Everything is Awesome, my first guest was Garrett Smith, who is another great friend of mine. And when Mike couldn't guest on the first episode of Everything is Awesome, as per usual, I tagged Garrett in to help me with stuff. He's a great friend. He lives further away, so like he's not usually my first person to go to, but he's usually my second person to go to. And he was my first guest. And if you know that conversation, it may not have happened in the first episode, but in that first conversation, we talked about something that is really relevant to what Taylor and I will end up talking about in this 10-year anniversary episode for Everything is Awesome. So excited. I am probably about a halfway point of what the actual length of the interview with Jordan was. So I'm going to wrap it here. I just want to say thank you once again to Jordan for being a guest on this show. A preemptive thank you to Mike, Jeff, and Taylor. I'll put links to all their work as well in these show notes, because me getting this 200th episode celebration put together, creating the story for this Edge of the Empire game has been the medicine I've needed to get back into Everything is Awesome, to jump back in, to dip my toes, to walk into the water, whatever metaphors you want to use. And it wouldn't be happening without them saying yes. Each yes I got was more fuel to ask the next person. And I wasn't thinking Mike would say no, but him officially committing made me excited to talk to Jeff. And Jeff's a busy guy, and there was a chance he wouldn't be available. I knew that. And he said, yes, I'm available, whatever you need, whenever you want, let's do it. And that was the fuel I needed to ask Taylor, who was and is, for all intents and purposes, a complete stranger. An acquaintance that I've now talked to through email and social media a few times. But it took me 3 weeks after getting the yes from those two to email Taylor, because I have this thing about rejection and I hate it. And I know that you just need to send the email, you just need to do it and just not worry about it and hope that they respond. And it took me 3 weeks to get there because I'm an insane person. And Taylor, thank you so much for responding as quickly as you did, because this project actually means the world to me. And I'm planning it right the week of my uncle's 9th anniversary of his passing. So I'm not a big spiritual guy. I'm not a big faith guy. I'm very, I flop back and forth on my faith, on spirituality, on the idea of fate. But I don't know, something about this feels like it all came together for whatever reason, or at the time that it came together. So just a final thank you to Mike, to Jeff, and to Taylor. Thank all three of you for agreeing to do this silly idea for me. And an extra thank you to Taylor, because I sent 2 wild pitches to you and you jumped into play right away. And that's my favorite type of person. That's someone who I hope ends up being a part of what I call the everything is awesome world for quite some time. When people are so willing to jump in and do things, I want to be involved with them, more and more. I want to do more projects with them. I want them to be like a person that I can just, have as part of my crew, to be like, hey, we're doing something silly. Can you do it? Are you in? Are you available? So it's just nice to, in 2025, after 10 years, almost 10 years, in 2026, it'll be 10 years of doing this podcast, and 19 years of podcasting in 2026. It's really nice that those things still happen. And they give me the energy I need to podcast. All right, this is going to be almost as long as the goddamn episode again. God damn it, I am awful. Hey, guys, you know what? I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for listening. Leave those 5-star rating reviews, guys. I think it helps. I don't know, because podcasting has changed enough that in 2025, does it matter? I don't know, but do it. It makes me smile. I want to smile. You want me to smile? You don't want me to get into a deep, dark depression, do you? If you do, that's sick, kind of dark humor, and I like it. But leave that 5-star review on. I just cut myself off from recording, so it goes to show you that almost 19 years of podcasting, you can still fuck it up. Just going to come back on and say thank you all for listening, for spending your time with me here with this episode. And we'll catch you on the flip side right here on Everything is Awesome, only on awesomepodcast.com.